My name is Olivier. The first time I noticed something between my sister and my boyfriend, it was so small, I almost ignored it. Sophie had been living with us for 2 weeks. She said it was temporary, just until she got back on her feet after her breakup. And honestly, I wanted to help her. She was my sister. Daniel agreed immediately. Too quickly, maybe. But at the time, I thought it was kindness. That night, we were all sitting in the living room, watching a movie, nothing unusual. Sophie was curled up on one side of the couch, Daniel beside her. I was in the kitchen making popcorn. Then I walked back in and stopped. Not fully, just enough to notice something strange. Daniel's hand was resting on Sophie's knee, lightly, casually, like it had been there for a while. Neither of them reacted when I entered. That's what made my stomach tighten, because if it was accidental, wouldn't they move? Instead, Sophie just smiled at the TV, and Daniel slowly pulled his hand away, too slowly. I stood there quietly, trying to tell myself it meant nothing, but the feeling stayed, small, sharp, uncomfortable. And later that night, when Daniel wrapped his arms around me in bed, all I could think about was how natural his hand looked on her. After that night, I started noticing things I hadn't noticed before, or maybe they were always there, and I just didn't want to see them. Small things, tiny moments, the kind people normally ignore. Daniel laughing harder at Sophie's jokes than mine. Sophie touching his arm when she talked. The way they looked at each other sometimes just a second too long. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid, because what kind of sister thinks like that? What kind of girlfriend doubts the people she loves most? So I stayed quiet, but the feeling didn't leave. A few days later, I came home early from work. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. Then I heard music from the kitchen, soft music, and laughter. I walked in slowly. Daniel was standing behind Sophie, showing her how to cook something. At least that's what it looked like at first. But he was standing too close. Much too close. His hand rested lightly over hers. Sophie leaned back slightly against him, comfortably, naturally. Neither of them noticed me immediately, and for some reason that hurt more than if they had jumped apart, because it meant they forgot to be careful. Then Daniel looked up, saw me, and stepped away quickly, too quickly this time. "Oh," he said. "You're home early." I forced a smile. But inside, something cold started spreading through me, because deep down, I already knew this wasn't innocent anymore. I stopped sleeping properly after that. Every small thing stayed in my head. The kitchen, his hand over hers, the way she leaned against him. I kept replaying it, trying to convince myself I was overthinking. But my body knew before my mind admitted it. Something was wrong. A few nights later, I woke up around 2 a.m. The bed beside me was empty. At first, I thought Daniel was in the bathroom. Then I heard voices. Quiet ones. From the living room. My chest tightened immediately. I got out of bed slowly. The apartment was dark, except for the lamp near the couch. And there they were. Sophie sitting close to him. Too close. Daniel leaned forward, his arms stretched across the back of the couch behind her. They were talking softly, like they didn't want anyone to hear. Then Sophie laughed quietly, and Daniel touched her face, just for a second. his fingers near her cheek, gentle, familiar. My stomach dropped. Because people don't touch someone like that by accident. I stood there frozen, watching, and the worst part? Neither of them looked uncomfortable. Neither of them looked guilty. They looked comfortable, like this had already become normal between them. Then Daniel noticed me. His entire body stiffened. Sophie turned quickly. The silence after that felt unbearable. "What are you doing awake?" Daniel asked. Too fast. Too nervous. I looked at both of them, and for the first time I stopped wondering if something was happening, and started wondering how long it had already been happening behind my back. After that night, everything changed. Not openly, not loudly, but inside me something cracked. I started noticing every little detail, every silence, every glance, every moment they suddenly stopped talking when I walked in. And somehow that hurt more than arguments would have, because it meant there were things happening that I wasn't supposed to see. A few days later, Daniel left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered. I wasn't planning to touch it. I swear I wasn't. But then it buzzed. One message. From Sophie. My chest tightened immediately. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, then picked it up. The message preview was short, but enough. Last night felt dangerous. I felt sick instantly. My fingers moved before I could stop myself. I opened the chat, and there it was. Weeks of messages, late-night conversations, inside jokes, deleted messages. Then one photo, not explicit, somehow worse. Daniel lying on the couch, Sophie's legs resting across his lap, his hand on her thigh, comfortable, intimate, like they forgot the rest of the world existed. I couldn't breathe properly for a second. Then I saw the newest message. From Daniel. We just have to be more careful around her. Her, not Olivia, not me, just her. Like I was suddenly outside my own relationship. Outside my own family. The bathroom water stopped running. My heart jumped. I locked the phone quickly, put it back exactly where it was, then stood there trying not to fall apart before he walked back into the room. The hardest part wasn't finding out. It was watching them pretend afterward. Daniel came out of the shower smiling, normal, relaxed, like he hadn't just shattered something inside me. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded too quickly. Yeah, my voice barely sounded like mine. That night, we ate dinner together like nothing happened. Sophie talked about work. Daniel laughed at her jokes. And I sat there quietly, watching both of them carefully now. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. I noticed everything. The secret smiles, the small touches, the way Daniel looked at her when he thought I wasn't paying attention. And the worst part, sometimes Sophie looked guilty, but Daniel never did. Not once. Like hurting me had already become acceptable to him. Halfway through dinner, Sophie dropped her fork. Daniel picked it up for her automatically. Their hands touched, and neither of them pulled away immediately. Just 1 second. Maybe 2, but long enough. Long enough to feel intimate. I looked down at my plate quickly, because suddenly I couldn't breathe properly again. I realized something terrifying in that moment. This wasn't just attraction anymore. This was attachment. Feelings. Something deeper than I wanted to believe. Then Daniel looked at me suddenly, and for a second I wondered if he could see it on my face. The truth, the fact that I knew everything, but instead he just smiled softly and asked me to pass the salt. A week later I came home earlier than usual again. This time I didn't make any noise. No music, no TV, just silence. The apartment felt strangely empty at first. Then I heard something upstairs. Soft movement, a laugh. My chest tightened immediately. I walked toward the stairs slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. Part of me already knew. I think that's why I kept going anyway. Their bedroom door wasn't fully closed, just slightly open. Enough to see. Daniel was sitting on the edge of the bed, Sophie standing between his legs. Too close. His hands resting on her waist. Not accidental. Not friendly. Comfortable. Intimate. The kind of touch that only happens after boundaries disappear. Then he kissed her. Slowly. Like this wasn't new. Like they had done it before. My stomach dropped so hard it physically hurt. For a second, everything inside me went numb. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. I just stood there watching my sister kiss the man I loved. Then Sophie pulled away suddenly. She saw me first. Her entire face changed. Olivia Danu turned quickly. The silence after that felt violent. No excuses came immediately. No explanations. Because there wasn't one. Not for this. I looked at both of them. Really looked. And suddenly, all the confusion disappeared. All the doubt. All the denial. Because betrayal looks different when you finally see it with your own eyes. And in that moment, something inside me finally broke. Nobody spoke at first. Sophie stepped back from him immediately. Daniel stood up too fast. Like movement could somehow fix what I had just seen. Olivia Elsen, Sophie started. But I held my hand up. Not angry. Not screaming. I think I was too hurt for that. Daniel walked toward me slowly. Please, he said quietly. That word almost made me laugh. Please, after weeks of lies. You said you loved me, I whispered. My voice sounded empty. Daniel's face tightened. I do love you. I looked at him. Then at Sophie. And for the first time, I realized how long this must have been happening. The comfort between them. The way they touched each other. The way they looked at each other. None of that starts overnight. How long? I asked. Silence. That silence told me everything. Sophie started crying softly. I never meant for this to happen, she said. But Daniel didn't look guilty anymore. Daniel stepped forward quickly. Olivia, don't leave like this. Like this. I looked at him one last time. How else should I leave? I asked quietly. After watching my sister kiss the man I trusted most. Neither of them answered, because there was nothing left to say. I stayed at a hotel that night, then another one after that. I ignored Daniel's calls, blocked Sophie's messages. At first I thought I would feel angry, but honestly, I just felt empty. The kind of empty that makes everything feel quieter. A week later, Daniel came to my office. He waited outside until I finished work. When I walked out and saw him, something inside me twisted. Not love, not comfort, just disappointment. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept properly. "Can we talk?" he asked. I almost said no, but part of me needed to hear it, needed to understand why. So we sat at a small cafe across the street, and for the first few minutes, neither of us spoke. Then finally, "It wasn't supposed to happen," he said quietly. I stared at him. That sentence hurt more than an apology, because it meant it still happened, again and again, until it became real. "You were my safe place," I said softly. His face dropped immediately. "And you turned my own home into the one place I couldn't feel safe anymore." Daniel looked down. No excuses this time. No explanations. Just silence. The kind that comes too late. A month later, Sophie moved out of the city. We stopped talking after that. Not because I hated her, but because some betrayals change the shape of love forever. And even now, I still remember the exact moment I realized the truth. Not the kiss, not the messages,